Well, hello there. My name is Christopher Scott, and I serve as a small groups pastor of a local church. In this video, I want to give you a small group facilitator tip in these series of videos I'm creating, a facilitator tip about involving everyone in your small group. You want to involve everyone in your small group, right? And the idea here is on the weekend when people go to church, they go to church and they sit and they passively listen to a message being given, right? They sit and they passively listen to a message giving to them. But during the week, when people go to a small group, they sit and they actively participate in a discussion, okay? They actively participate in discussion. And so your goal as a small group facilitator is to involve everyone in your small group in two ways. In the organization and leadership of the group and making the group happen, and in the discussion and participation of the group in people talking during the group meeting. Okay, so in this video, I'm going to talk to you about how to involve everyone in the leadership and organization of the group, and then how to involve everyone in the discussion time. Okay, and I've been reading this book, Leading Small Groups in the Way of Jesus. I'll put a link in the description of this video, an affiliate link to Amazon in case you want to purchase it. I do get a small commission if you purchase it using that link. It's a good book, kind of a missional small groups model book. And in here, he talks about solo leadership, this idea that sometimes people want to lead a small group all on their own. They want to do everything so they can do it perfectly, and so that the small group members can kind of be consumers and enjoy a good product, right? And that's really not a biblical model of community, right? A community has the idea of everybody getting involved, everybody participating, everybody making the group happen, things like that. So he makes a pretty good comment about that here as I give you a little introduction and background to where he's going here. He says, solo leadership models a way that is contrary to living in community and promotes passivity. Leading people into the way of Jesus is not about doing everything the right way so that the small group consumers can enjoy the small group product. The way of Jesus is always collaborative, always participatory. The way of Jesus is co-created by the entire group in the Spirit, not by the leader on his or her own. And the idea that he's getting at is there to lead a small group, you need to get everybody involved in community to make the group happen. So in this video, first I want to tell you, how do you get everybody involved in the leadership and organization of the group, and how do you make the group happen with everybody involved, okay? And there's a bunch of different ways you can do that, right? I have some different descriptions. Number one, you want to have a facilitator. That's probably you if you're watching this video. You want to have someone that facilitates the discussion. Number two, you want to have somebody that is an apprentice, a co-leader, a backup, an assistant for you, right? Somebody that you're training to do what you do. If you have a couple of busy weeks and you need to, kind of take a little step back, you have a co-leader or an apprentice or an assistant that can step in for you and lead the group. Or maybe you're going to take a 2-month cruise to the Bahamas, right? And you're going to say, see ya. You let your co-leader take over the group while you're gone. A third thing you want to maybe organize to make the group happen is have somebody that does the prayer requests, right? Maybe somebody brings a little journal or a notepad. They write down the prayer requests each week, and then they pray during the group, and then they come back the next week with those prayer requests from the last week, give updates, and continue to pray for those prayer requests. A fourth idea is to have someone coordinate the snacks, right? There might be somebody in your group, they pass around a sign-up list each couple of months, and then have people sign up for snacks, and then send a reminder text message that week to the people that are supposed to bring snacks. You might have somebody, a fifth idea, you might have somebody that enjoys having people over to his or her home, and he likes to have people at his house, or she likes to have people over, and she might be the host for the group. She doesn't, facilitate the discussion or lead the group. She just provides the nice, warm, comfortable living room for everybody to enjoy. A sixth idea is you might have somebody in your group that really likes to do stuff and be active, and they might coordinate service projects. Your group might, put in flowers at your church for Easter, or help as a greeter on Easter Sunday when there's a need for a lot of greeters, and they might organize the whole group serving together. That's a sixth idea. A seventh idea is maybe to have somebody communicate to the group about what lesson your group is covering the next week, right? So on one of the groups that I'm facilitating right now, we're doing the Wiersbe Bible Study Guide for the Gospel of John. So there's an email that gets sent out each week that says, this week we're going to be studying this passage in John. We're going to be in this lesson of the workbook the study guide, and we're going to be covering these questions this week. It's an email that gets sent out, and that might be something that you have somebody do in your group, is that their job is to send out an email or a text message to the whole group each week about what lesson your group is going to be covering that coming week. Because some people might have been at group and they forgot what they're supposed to read for the next group meeting, or they might have missed the week, so they don't really know, right? An eighth idea to involve everyone in the leading of your group is maybe somebody that's passionate about global missions or local outreach, right? They might want to stay in touch with the global missionaries that your church supports, receive prayer requests, receive updates. Maybe they want to coordinate your small group to send, a birthday card or an anniversary card to your missionaries just as an encouragement. That might be a thing. Or maybe there's some local needs, like a school that might need paper supplies or things like that, and they coordinate, what the school needs and how your group can help. So those are 8 different ways you can involve everyone in your small group for the leadership and the organization of your group, right? 8 different ways. A facilitator, a co-facilitator or assistant or apprentice is a second idea. Somebody to do the prayer requests, someone to coordinate the snacks, someone to host the group, someone to organize the service projects, someone to do communications on what lesson your group is in, and someone to stay in touch with maybe the global missions or local outreach, okay? And it's good to remember, if you're a small group leader and you're doing everything on your own, you host the group, you facilitate, you do all that, you don't really have to tell anybody what you're doing, you just do it all. But as you start to share the workload and you start to involve more people in making the group happen, your communication needs to improve, right? You need to make sure everybody's on the same page. You're telling everybody what you expect from them, remind them of their roles, right? So you got to be better with communication the more people you have involved in making your group happen, okay? So those are some ideas of how you get everybody involved in the group. Now let me tell you, how do you get everybody involved in the discussion part of your small group? So you've put your group together, you're now sitting there in a circle, ready to discuss the lesson. How do you involve everybody in the discussion of the small group? Well, the first idea there is that you might say, I'm not going to answer every question I ask, right? I'm not going to answer my own questions, right? So let's say, like I mentioned, I've been doing this Wiersbe guide through the Gospel of John, and I might, ask a question or two in here, and I have some thoughts written down maybe about how I responded to the question, but I might not answer the question if I feel like the group is staying on topic, or there's 6 people there and only 3 people have shared. I'm not going to maybe answer until other people really have gotten a chance to share. So that's the first idea, is to put the focus and put the emphasis on the group answering the questions, not your answer, right? Your job is to facilitate the group, not to teach. Another idea to make sure everybody gets involved in the discussion is to set the pace for your study, right? To pace your study, have a schedule, have an outline, and then be assertive to follow it, right? So in the groups that I facilitate, usually we follow a method of starting with the unifying question, and I'll have the unifying question up there in a link if you're not sure what that is. You can do we do the unifying question, we read the passage, we go through the study guide, we do prayer requests, and then we do snacks. That's our process. And we start on time and we end on time, right? And so that's part of my job as a facilitator, is to keep things going, keep them moving, and to be assertive to make sure we follow that process. That way, everybody gets a chance to participate and enjoy that time together. And one person doesn't just decide, well, I want to do all this time for prayer, I want to do all this time on this question. This question reminds me of this, I want to talk about this. No, your job is to keep them on track, right? Another idea to make sure everybody gets to participate is to start on time, and don't wait for people if they're late. If your group's supposed to start at 6:30 and there's 8 people in your group and only 4 of them are there at 6:30, but the other 4 are on their way, they're just late, still start at 6:30, right? Reward those people that were on time and by starting on time, so that they can also participate and not have to wait for others, okay? And then another tip is don't spend too much time on one question, right? Don't spend too much time on one question. You might ask this question, they start to answer it, and then it reminds people of this and this and this, and now they're talking about this. Keep the group focused on that question. One of the benefits of maybe using a study guide or a DVD, one of the benefits is you can go through a lot of the material in advance, so you kind of have a feel for the topics that are covered and some of the things that your group is going to cover. So if your group starts to get off topic and that topic is covered in the future, you're going to say, you know what, we're going to talk about that in a month. Let's talk about that then, but for now, let's stay focused on this question, okay? So you want to just try to keep the group going, keep it moving, okay? And then another way to involve everyone in the discussion is you want to encourage everyone to participate, but don't force it, right? We want people to share as they are willing and as they are comfortable, but not to force it, right? So a way to get people to talk in the group and discuss the topic, maybe without forcing them, is maybe you ask the question, a couple people share, a couple of the people that are a little more quiet haven't shared yet. So before you move on to the next question, you just simply ask, oh, does anybody else have anything else to share? You just kind of wait for those people that haven't shared yet. And if not, you just move on, okay? So that's an idea. Does anyone have anything else to share, okay? If there's a quiet person in your group that looks a little confused, or maybe has a question and they have that puzzled look, it's okay to say, hey, are you okay, John? You looked a little confused. Are we good? And they might say, when the study guide says this, I don't know what he means by that. That's okay. Or, I had a thought on this, but I wasn't sure if I would share it. Well, share it. If they don't normally talk, get them to talk, right? And then another tip is if someone is, each group is going to have the people that talk a lot and then the people that don't talk a lot. If you ever have someone that doesn't talk a lot and it looks like they're trying to speak up, they start to say something or try to speak up, and then the person that talks a lot talks at the same time, I ignore that person that always talks and I look at the new person or the person that doesn't talk and say, hey, what is it that you want to share? This person talks all the time. I don't mind ignoring them or even maybe offending them just a little bit, because I want to make sure the person that doesn't normally share gets a chance to share, okay? And then, so those are some ideas. And then make sure you affirm the person. Another tip, if a person doesn't normally speak up and then they do speak up, always affirm them and encourage them and support them in whatever they say. Even if it's not quite right or not quite accurate, do your best to encourage them to keep talking and keep facilitating and keep going. So those are some tips to help you get everybody involved in the discussion of your group. I know it's a little more lengthy video than my normal ones, but this is an important topic. You want to involve everyone in your small group, in the leadership and organization of it, as well as in the discussion time. So my name's Christopher Scott. I appreciate you watching this video. If you want to subscribe to my channel and get updates on future videos, you can subscribe up there. I got a bunch of other small group facilitator tips and a video playlist up there. If you want to learn to use the Wiersbe Bible Study Guides in a small group for a discussion like I do in our church, I got some videos over there that teach you how to do that. And if you want to use maybe the Chip Ingram, topical DVD-based studies that are a little easier to use, I got some of those videos over there. Thanks for watching, and I hope to catch you again soon in another video.